Hello everyone. So it is Thursday, time for my weekly update, which there's not a lot, but still some-ish, this many. I have not done any doll projects as of late. Hopefully soon, cross your fingers, but it has been, again, very hot, very humid, and I'm starting to really regret not taking advantage of the one full week that it was fall-esque weather. Is probably going to get back to that shortly. I can kind of feel it, and today it finally, like, the humidity is still there a little bit, but it's starting to try to dissipate, which is better than it was even this morning when, like, it was just terrible. So I'm really hoping that the humidity keeps going down versus going up like this or just going straight up again. I don't want that. I'm tired of it. I really am. And there's so many projects I want to do, but like I want to start with like, I know I could do sewing projects or stuff like that where it doesn't matter too much if there's humidity. I mean, I guess depending on like certain fabrics you're using or if you have to iron maybe. But the projects, all the projects I really want to do first and right now, of course, are ones that like, well, you have to wear a face mask, or in the case of with Benny, I want to continue sanding down his chest, and I got gloves to do it because my hands were starting to really hurt. So I got gloves that I can wear, like rubber gloves that are were suggested to me, and in hopes that like I can keep sanding and not like destroy my hand. Oh my god, Murphy has the zoom, sorry. So just the thought of wearing those in the humidity that it's been, just I can't do it. I cannot do it. So hopefully that goes away shortly and I can actually work on doll projects. So the only doll related news I have is that I did ask Doll Zone about their new doll that they're coming out with that is like in a very brown, like it's, I hesitate to call it tan, it's definitely a brown, and I love it. I love it so much. It's going to be exclusive to the 2 dolls they showed, so unfortunately, like, I can't get any of their other dolls in that particular color, if it is a color. But it's how they answered me, it sounded like it would be an actual resin color versus it being like a blushing or a dyeing they did. But of course, we probably won't know that for certain until the doll actually comes out, because there is a small language barrier, and you know how I phrase things versus how they phrase things. Sometimes it can be like, I'm not sure if we're on the same page, but usually when they release their information, they put everything you need to know in it. So I feel confident that if it's not a actual resin color, but like a blushing or a dye, that we will know with the official listing. But how it sounded is that yes, it is a resin color. So probably because that's a resin color, it may be limited, but I'm not sure either because I didn't think to ask. But I do know that I am still hoping they come out with the doll this month, so I know pricing and figure out where to go from there. Like, do I just say screw it and go with Soul Doll, or do I go with this one doll and that's it? I don't know who she would be, but I get a good feeling from her that she would make a character. And I know that, you know, I just said, you know, no bringing home dolls without a character or something like that. But it's not really a, how to put it. If it's a doll that I can't stop thinking about, that means that doll wants to come home. Character, no. So I guess what I actually mean is no impulse buys just because pretty, which there's so many dolls that are very, very gorgeous, but that doesn't mean I have a character or know what to do with them, and so bringing them home isn't very feasible. But if it's a doll that is beautiful, but also I can't stop thinking of them, and like something starts to form, then they go on, if they're not limited, they go on a definite like maybe list. But if they are limited, like I go for it. So I guess those are the actual rules, the full list of rules, as it were. So I'm excited to see how that turns out. And hopefully in my favor. But if not, then okay, the decision is made for me. I will go for Soul Doll, because if it's a dye or a blushing, I'm not going to deal with that. Because it's just, I don't move my dolls around a ton, so I have some hand blushing that has lasted. I have a lot of face-ups. Like, all the face-ups I've done, I haven't had to replace simply because of wear and tear yet. So I'm not too hard on my dolls and whatnot, but at the same time, the reason why I don't fully like body blush a doll is because I don't feel like dealing with that all the time. Like, I have 2 doll projects that I want to do on 2 different dolls. No, wait, on the same doll actually. 2 projects. And I'm worried that I'm just going to get too annoyed with any sort of flaking problems, that I'm just not going to want to deal with it. But this is a choice I'm making to do with this doll versus buying a doll outright that comes with blushing and having to just deal with it or work on removing it, which is something I don't want to do either. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I'm crossing my fingers. If it is, it is. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. There we go. That's what I meant to say. Otherwise, I had the smallest Michael's shopping spree I think I've ever had. But I went there trying to find spooky home decor stuff, and I didn't really find anything that really got me. I feel like they had more stuff the last couple years that really, like, I really liked, like, more vampire stuff because I love vampires. But I don't know, I wasn't really feeling very much of the stuff they had there, so I ended up getting no home decor stuff this time. I may go back when everything is like on as low a sale as Michael's does on these items, which I think can get down to 70%, but I'm not sure. I can't remember. But I may go back and get like the 2 vampire items I remember seeing for super cheap, but that's probably pretty much it. I regret not taking advantage of the last couple of years, but I always talk myself out of it because, like, I don't know. I like a very cutesy and like anime style sort of thing, and I didn't think it would fit in too much, but then I realized that, like, you know, you can just kind of smash them together or whatever. It doesn't really matter. In the end, like, they go together because you like them together. So there you go. But, so I didn't get any of that, but I did get one thing I've always needed but kept forgetting to get, which is this glue. It's E600 glue. It's not anything I would use for anything doll related really, except I kind of am interested to use it on like a doll cap or something, or to put like yarn on wigs, but I don't know. It's very strong adhesive, so I don't think I want to risk it for that, but this will definitely come in handy for any paper crafts I want to do. Oh gosh. I flung it and it opened a little bit. And then I just got like stuff I can use in my planner that's spooky. So I decided to spookify my budget planner here, because why not? And Erin Condren, where I get my writing planner and main planner from, they're running a sale, like buy one get one on their covers. So I'm getting a couple of Halloween-esque covers because I've decided this year I'm going all in, and I'm going in early. I think it's because last October was kind of miserable, and in all honesty, and I know this is going to sound ridiculous, but in all honesty, I can't even remember why. Hold on, I'm trying to grab, oh god, there he is. All right, I got it. I'm trying to get my Kylo Ren cup under my desk, but I can't remember why. And I know that, like, if I go back maybe to my videos from that time or any journal entries I have, I'll be able to piece it together rather quickly, but still, I can't remember off the top of my head. I just remember it being miserable for the most part, except for any time, like, we went to see a horror, I went to see a horror movie with my friends or anything like that. That was fun, but otherwise I was just having a time of it. So I decided this year, screw it. I am going to be spooky and fall-like from now until, I guess, probably November, but we'll see. We'll see if it even ends. It may not. So I'm taking advantage of that. You know, I've started the pumpkin spice early. I have... even though it's not hoodie weather, I've started wearing it just because I want to. Like, screw you, I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm just, yeah, I'm going to spookify my planners, and it's going to be awesome. Like, I have this. It's a paper pad, just, you know, plain and simple. But if you are at all in the planner world, you know about vellum. And that's pretty much what this is. It's just a little thicker, and it has... Oh god, this one I did not see in the store. That one's kind of gross. I don't know about that, but it doesn't gross me out as much as the real thing does at all. But like, this one has like this kind of stuff in it, and the first page is all different sorts of x-ray stuff, and then like there's spooky trees in it. Where is it? Trees. I love the trees the most. Where are they? There they are. I love these trees so much. They just, I don't know, remind me of a very spooky forest where maybe Slenderman would come out, but who knows. That reminds me, I haven't even seen that movie. I wanted to see it just for funsies, but it sounded horrible. But anyway, that's pretty much what's in here, and I'm going to use it the same way that we use vellum in the planner world, which is just for decoration, because, you know, whatever. And then I also got a Halloween paper pad. Now they have this pad in a bigger size, but since I'm doing my tiny budget planner, I decided to go for this one. I may go back for the bigger one because there's stuff, oops, there's tape on the side. There's stuff in this paper pad that I adore way too much to not use on a more regular basis. I really love the color scheme, and out of the two that were available, this one I ended up loving the most. But the other one was super cute too. I did not get that one. I just got this one because I was trying to be conservative. But some of my favorites in here, I love these moons and also these bats. And let's see, another favorite. I love these flowers. Oh my god. I love them so much. And these are booms. I might put these in here because of Bellevue. Her poor boyfriend's bones that she just keeps around. She needs to not do that. But, you know, you do what you gotta do, I guess. And then also, what else did I love in here? I love this page a lot. I might even put that at the front, but we shall see. In this page. So I don't know. I just really, this one really spoke to me out of both of them. So we'll see how I use both of these together. And then last but definitely not least, I got these stickers. And they're just, lots of glare. But they're just of the, like, here's what's all included. Ta-da! So just stickers. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with these, and to be honest, I once I got these home, I realized they were stickers and not just like die cuts of these that I could just like laminate and stuff like that. So I can stick these on things, but I think if I put them through the laminator, that will just ruin the entire world. So we'll see what I do with those, but I'm not sure yet. And last but definitely not least, how my writing has been going, which is not too bad, actually. Like, I wasn't sure if I'd have any. Did I do anything on the 30th? No, I didn't. Sorry. I didn't know how it was going to be, if I was going to have any sort of update on my writing at all, because it's not like I wasn't feeling it, but I was definitely feeling like a little cranky this past week, and it was so hot on Sunday and Monday, and I really wanted to get some writing done and do some stuff with the Sims and whatnot, but it was so hot that I was getting mad. So that is a big part of my crankiness, more than definitely. I was just getting so frustrated. But it turns out I ended up getting past that and making myself get past it, actually. Especially, was it Sunday? Yeah. Especially Sunday. Sunday, I was just like, I shut down The Sims, and then I was about to get off the computer for the night, and I saw that the YouTube video was up that I was going to take notes on, and I was like, do it. Just go ahead and do it. And I ended up doing it and filling up a lot of pages. I was so impressed. Like, I finally filled up this page and this page. It's all filled up with notes from the first video that I wanted to do notes on about why to plot, and then I did notes on writing great characters. I did that on Monday, and I did the entire thing that day. I didn't have to split it up like I did for the why plot video that I was watching. And again, that's from Heart Breathings. I'm doing her entire series. The 7th video came out this week, so there's just one video left, but of course I'm only on the 3rd video in regards to taking notes, so I'm behind. But hopefully I will catch up, get those all down, and get started on actually really plotting my novel. But I have to say, I did get an actual good start on it, in a way, because I figured out, like, what I want. I think I essentially figured out what I want everyone's character arcs to be, and that's why this the writing great characters really came in handy, because I love character driven stories versus any other story, amazingly enough. Like, I figured that out like a few years ago, that when it comes to stories, I do prefer like fantastic characters, and like, world building is a definite bonus, but if you have fantastic characters, you can get away with a lot more than anything, in my opinion. Like, if you have great world building and you're into world building, the characters can be trash, but you're loving the world they're in and you want to read more. But I have the opposite thing. The characters have to keep it going, and everything else, definite bonus, you know. If you have both, I mean, whoo, that's probably best story ever. But, you know, it's not often you have both, and I know that sounds bad to say and probably overreaching a little bit, but it's kind of true. There's usually a balance versus it being like tipped any other way. But usually it's like we have good world building, good characters, rather than great and great. We get this more often, and that I feel is fine to say. Because, like, honestly, it's amazing to have this, and especially since it can go so wrong so quickly. But while I would love to have this world built up, there's not really much to world build in Benny's story. that comes in a later story where I want to learn how to do world building well. But in this one, there's not too much to it, so I really want to focus on getting the characters where they should be and writing them with depth and also getting them somewhere by the end of the story. So I did make headway with that, and something is coming up in my brain. I don't know if I'll actually do this at all, especially since it's a new idea, one I never really thought of at all for Benny's story. So I don't want to immediately jump into that idea, and that idea sticks too much. But this is probably Ella Frank's fault. Ella Frank is an author who I adore and just recently discovered, like, last year. And I really love her stories. Even though, like, I'm sure a lot of people will go, oh, that's trash. Because it's MM romance, which is just erotica. But at the same time, she puts depth into it and makes it good. So I really enjoy reading it. But she does this, she recently came out with a new series. The one I really got into was her Temptation series. But she came out with a new one that's called the Confession series. And in it, there's 3 characters. I won't say who, just in case you ever want to pick up these books. If you do, start with the Temptation series before you move on to Confession. But anyway, there's 3 characters in Confessions. And what she did was write a book about each one. And in it, even though there will be certain sections from each of the 3 characters, it focuses on one character's arc. Which I hope that didn't sound confusing. But like in the first story, even though like there's 3 people talking at you in different sections, it focuses on just one person getting to where they need to be at the end of the story. And I found that fascinating, and I couldn't believe she pulled it off. And I know plenty of other people have pulled this off in different genres, like all the time. They do this all the time, but it never really occurred to me to do this with like a MM romance kind of story. And that's pretty much what Benny's story is at the end of the day. Like at the end of the day, that's mostly what it is, though I wouldn't say it's erotica yet because I don't know how that part will go, but I do know it is just about their romance. And yes, he's an assassin in love with a detective, and that will play into it, and there will be a lot going on with that at its very base level. That's what it is, and I have to realize that. So I don't know, usually when I think of something like that, I think of like literary fiction, or like if there's something intense going on like sci-fi or fantasy or something like that. I never thought of it in other realms, and now that I've been exposed to it, I was like, do I want to do that with this series? Like, do I want, I definitely have 3 main characters that are connected. Do I want to handle all 3 arcs in the same book, or do I want to focus on each one individually, even though, like, you know, I have multiple points of views going on in the books? And I don't know. I kind of like the idea, and also it would give me time to fully explore each character. But I know exactly what order I would write it into. It would be Benny, Seiji, and then the Mistress. So it would be those 3 definitely, and in that order. But I'm like, do I want to expand it that way just because I think it's neat, or do I feel like I need the time? So I need to figure that out. But I wrote it down to explore, and I was so excited that I was just like, I went like on and on about it right here. It was very exciting. And then yesterday I figured out more about the Mistress, who she's not a villain. She is an antagonist, I would say. But I was having a problem with her because of one Tumblr post. That Tumblr post was talking about how the world needs more female villains whose motivation for being a villain has nothing to do with a man. And I was like, well, shit. Because who she is in relation to a man. And what she did is because of a man, etc. Like, there's two men that have shaped her, basically. And I was like, oh, well, crap, you know, like, I do want to make but then I was like, well, I can't force her. That is the problem I have a lot. And once again, I should have told you to grab a snack, but I didn't realize I would, like, go off about this so much. But this has bothered me before and has ruined characters for me before. And that is, because it's going to sound weird, and I hope I can explain it correctly. But it has to do with the fact that, like, I am how to put it? I feel like I'm a very PC person, or a woke person, as people like to use in a negative way, which I don't know why people are doing that now, but whatever, you know. They like to use that in social justice warrior to insult people, but I don't find it, I don't see why it could be construed as an insult to care about people and respect people, but, you know, whatever. But because of that, it doesn't affect, okay, it wasn't affecting how I was making my characters. If a character came to me a certain way and this is who they are, I was very into keeping the character as they are. So in her case, you know, yes, two men have shaped her, and at its core it could be looked at this way, but there's actually a bigger picture to it, and I feel like her story is just as valid as a story of another woman who didn't have men to shape her, and, you know, she either had a woman who shaped her, or she's mad about something else, you know. And I feel both are valid, and I really don't feel like I should keep, like, forcing myself to change my characters simply because of their non-PC nature, I guess I should say. Because, like, even if her story ends up not being the most PC to people, people are like, oh my god, that's the most, like, cliche woman nonsense everything, you know, blah, 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 blah. Even if they end up saying that, I feel like forcing her to change because of that and not letting her grow organically, it bothers me more just to change her so that people won't say shit about her, instead of just letting her grow and become a full person of her own, you know? And I hope I explained that correctly, because it's not like I'm going out there, like, trying to make these characters that don't fit into the times or what is happening now or how things should be now, I feel. But I don't feel like, I also feel like it's not genuine to just force it to, like, I don't know how else to put it. I hope I'm putting it okay. I just, that Tumblr post really, like, set me back, because I was just like, oh, well, yeah, I'm doing that. But then I was like, I really enjoy her as a character, and, you know, there's plenty of people out there whose lives have been shaped by all sorts of genders, and I shouldn't, you know, basically I really shouldn't Be like, your story is not valid because your life was shaped by two cis men, you know? Like, I don't know. It just feels weird to me. So I have put that Tumblr post aside for the moment because I don't know, like, I want to keep figuring her out, and who knows, maybe at the last minute she says, haha, well, it turns out the master I'm talking about was actually a woman. You thought he was a guy the whole time, but haha, he's not. And I'm like, oh, okay, and then I go with it. But that's how I like to do with my characters. I don't like to create my characters just to make sure that they fit into world values. I like to make characters that come to me how they are, and I listen to them, and you know, if I can shape them somehow, I will, but I don't like forcing anything upon them. So I hope that sounded okay. And honestly, if I feel like if I explain it anymore, I'm just gonna make it sound worse and worse. But hopefully you know what I'm talking about, and it's not terrible. I think it's mostly because at the end of the day, I really do want to be genuine to myself, but also to you and to what I'm writing and to my characters, and also that encompasses my dolls who represent my characters. I want to just be as genuine as I can be all around, because I don't know, I feel like being disingenuous is just, I feel like that must be hard to maintain and frustrating to maintain, and people will still not like you or what you're doing or your characters or your dolls, or there will still be, at the end of the day, people who do not like what you're doing and who you are. So you might as well, instead of faking it in any sort of way or like making yourself do this or that to make sure you don't step on anyone's toes, you just be yourself. It feels like, I mean, along the way you will learn things, and maybe things will flow into place, and maybe you will grow into this different sort of genuine person. But if along the way you just stay yourself, just stay yourself. I don't know, it just feels like less work to upkeep, and I don't know if you're always happy about it. But you always, I feel like it's better to live that way, especially if, like, I've been seeing these YouTube videos about people who are like coming clean about who they really are, and I'm like, well, why would you just always that? Just be that. And I know that being that way may not get you the most views on YouTube, and maybe your life won't seem as fun, and maybe you'll be sad sometimes, depressed, angry, you know, you're not always happy.